we have 2015-100, 2015-106, and 2015-105, State of Arkansas versus Travis Erickson.
Your Honor, I'm here today to enter my appearance on behalf of Mr. Erickson. On all three charges, Your Honor, we would enter a formal plea. We would waive a formal reading of the charges, enter a plea of not guilty. I think for ease, we would move to transfer 15-105 to this court's docket. And then once the court takes that down, Mr. Etheridge and I will share with you about bond.
All right. Court is noting a plea of not guilty on each of the three cases, and Mr. Pasting's appearance here in court. Court is also, at this time, will enter an order, obviously subject to any objection from Judge Putman, to transferring 2015-5 to the Division 4 docket. The court will enter an order to that effect. All of these cases, for the moment, even though the 2015-105 is of a slightly different variety than 106 and 100, the court is going to schedule them by scheduling order for a November 9th hearing, November 9th trial, a September 24th pretrial, and a reappearance on August 27th. All of those cases will be set down in that fashion for trial. I'm not at this time joining them for trial. We'll review that on August 27th.
That would be fine, Your Honor, if we could be heard as to bond.
All right. What's the issue on bond?
Judge, Mr. Erickson's original bond of $20,000 was revoked based on one of the new filings, either 105 or 106. The state has provided me this morning with 2 additional affidavits that will be filed probably here in the near future. To that end, it's my understanding, I'll ask Mr. Etheridge to confirm, that his bond would be set at $50,000 to cover all his cases. The 3 cases that he's been arraigned on, and then the 2 that he hasn't been arraigned on. Okay.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Are there any special conditions that need to be?
Your Honor, this gentleman needs help, and we would encourage him to get some help. But, Your Honor, I've told Mr. Pacey any violation of any kind for him is we're not going to be very cooperative next time, Your Honor.
And I'm going to head out to the jail, Travis, and see you here in just a bit and go over some of those issues with you.
Okay. Bond to be set at $50,000 to cover all. That was 50 is what the agreement was.
Yeah, 50, yes.
Yeah. $50,000 to cover all of these cases, plus apparently there's 2 others that haven't been filed.
The 2 others are in the 5, yes.
All right. All right.
That is correct.
That'll be the bond they'll be set in this matter. 2015-22 and 2014-62, State of Arkansas versus John Lewis.
Your Honor, Mr. Lewis has 2 cases on this court's docket that are on failure to appears and reappear today. Mr. Etheridge and I visited with about John's cases, Mr. Lewis's cases, yesterday afternoon, and there may be a resolution, Your Honor. This is one of those cases that Dave and I told you in chambers that may plead out today and it may not. So I'd ask that he be brought over at 1:30.
All right. I'm putting him down to be brought over at 1:30. Okay. I should be able to have that. It appears it was served April 16th.
He'll be brought over at the afternoon session. You and I will discuss what Mr. Etheridge and I discussed yesterday afternoon, okay?
All right, you'll be transported over. 2015-102, State of Arkansas versus David Saunders.
We've represented Mr. Saunders in the past. I don't believe that he's filled out an application for this current case. believe his situation is still the same. Therefore, I'll enter a plea of not guilty on his behalf, waive formal arraignment. Your Honor, based upon my conversation with Mr. Saunders yesterday and based on our conversation with Mr. Etheridge, I'd ask that he be brought over this afternoon also.
All right.
This is a parole violation case also, Judge, so bond will not be an issue.
Yeah, I'm noting a plea of not guilty on his behalf.
Yes, Your Honor.
And all right. We'll put Mr. Saunders on the list of cases to come over this afternoon for a possible resolution. You may be excused, sir. 2015-103, State of Arkansas versus Derek Holt. This is for arraignment on charges of possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamine, Class D felony, and fleeing, a Class A misdemeanor. On those charges, how does the defendant plead?
Please not guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty is noted. The case is assigned to the Division III docket of Judge Putman. I'm setting it down for reappearance on May 14th in front of Judge Putman. 2015-28, State of Arkansas versus Jason Hicks.
Your Honor, this is on a reappearance. Mr. Hicks and I visited yesterday. This just needs to stay on the court's scheduling order, and there's no further action to take today, Judge.
All right. Mr. Hicks' case is set for the trial during the week of July 13th. All right. You may be excused at this time. 2015-70, State of Arkansas versus Kyle Solomon.
Your Honor, I think this is on a reappearance. We've worked out a plea agreement in this that Mr. Solomon will accept this afternoon.
All right. I'll direct that Mr. Solomon be brought over this afternoon, and we'll hopefully deal with that case this afternoon. You may be excused for now, sir.